Hey everybody, it's Alex Hughes with Hughes Real Estate. I hope you enjoyed that last blooper video, and thank you for joining me for my third video in this six-part series from contract to close. In this video, we're going to be talking to Ryan Erikson. He's a home financing advisor for Scotiabank here in Victoria, and the goal of this interview was to help get a better understanding of what we need to be doing in getting our financials set up to make that mortgage application easier. So he's going to be talking about pre-approvals, what happens when we get an accepted offer, and what he does on the back end up until the completion date. I hope you guys get something out of this, and again, never hesitate to reach out should you have any further questions. Enjoy! Hi everybody, thank you for joining us today. I'm here with Ryan Erikson of Scotiabank. We're going to do a quick little interview, won't take too much of your time. So Ryan, why don't you just start off and explain who you are?
Yeah, name is Ryan. I've born and raised here in Victoria, and I've been now in banking and in mortgages for coming up on my seventh year, I think now. So I've been doing it for a while, and definitely seen some interesting markets, but no shortage of every mortgage being different.
Yeah, no kidding. So getting right into it here, when I sit down with my clients with buyer consultation, one of the first things we talk about not only is to what they're looking for, but kind of what their financials are looking like and getting a pre-approval. So can you briefly explain what a pre-approval is?
Yeah, so basically a pre-approval is, what someone like myself or a mortgage broker is going to look at is we're going to verify three things. We're going to verify your income, make sure that it fits whatever guidelines that we have, and verify your down payment for the new home. And then lastly, we're going to check your credit. So those three things we're going to verify. And that kind of gives us a pretty accurate understanding of where you would sit for what your purchasing power would be. And then they'd kind of meet with someone like yourself and let you know what they're kind of pre-approved for.
Okay. And now obviously this is going to change kind of property to property. So again, can you briefly explain kind of what the difference, if there are any, about looking for like a primary residence or an investment property?
Yeah, the biggest things that are going to change for purchasing a primary home versus a rental or investment property are going to be the interest rates. Your interest rates are going to be slightly better for your primary home versus a rental home. So I would say somewhere between 10 and 15 points, and then your down payment on an investment property is a minimum 20%. Whereas if you're purchasing a primary home, you can do the minimum down payment, which is 5% of the first 500,000, and then 10% up to $1 million above 500,000. And then again, after 1 million, it's 20% and more or more.
Okay. Now,
yeah,
that 20% for the investment property, is that regardless if you're a corporation or not?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Fantastic. Appreciate it. So now, we've got an accepted offer. So obviously we got subjects to financing. So can you explain what you do on that back end in the 3 to 5 business days, or if that's taking a little bit longer due to the busyness of the underwriters?
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully by this point, before you've made an offer, you've already sat down with someone like myself, and we've verified those three things like that income, down payment, and checked your credit. But once you got that accepted offer with someone like yourself, either you or your client would send me their accepted offer agreement, and we would get the bank to run an appraisal on that home. And once the bank is signed off on the income, credit, down payment, as well as the appraisal on that home, we'll send you our approval paperwork, and then the client would sign the approval paperwork. And from there, we give you the go-ahead to remove your financing condition, and we'd send that package to whatever lawyer or notary you'd be using, and your client would have that final kind of signing appointment with the lawyer, and then they'd be handed the keys by you.
Yeah, perfect. And so what's kind of like the average days that you're needing nowadays?
So the hardest part is it comes to the appraisal, because sometimes every time we're going to try for an automated appraisal where we don't have to go physically to the house, and if that gets approved, great. We have almost an instant approval. We don't have to get a physical appraisal. However, right now in this type of market, appraisal companies are the things that are mostly holding things back because they're so busy. Even if you're ordering a rush appraisal, it's taking more time than usually that 24-hour turnaround that it used to take. So I think the hardest thing, I can submit your application with all your income documents and order an appraisal, but if for some reason it's taking 3 or 4 days for the appraisal to come back, that's what I've been finding, is taking a little bit longer in this market. So we obviously hope for that automated appraisal, but if we have to go to the house, that's where really you're relying on another company to try and get things done faster. It's not only there's more moving parts. So three
Yeah,
to five
no,
business days is kind of, I mean, I would say a year ago people were offering 2 weeks to get your subject removed. Then it's been dropped more so around that 3 to 5 business days. And I try and ask for a minimum of the 3 to 5 days, but sometimes we'll get that 1 day or 2 day turnaround that
yeah,
you really need to make some magic happen.
yeah, no kidding. I appreciate the explanation there. And then, so there's been quite a bit of talk and some news updates about the new stress test regulations. Could you explain what the differences are now?
Yeah, so the biggest thing, or that qualifying rate that I would be qualifying someone like yourself for a mortgage, has gone up from about 4.79% to up to 5.25%. So um, how that's kind of worked is they're choosing either the greater of the 5.25% or whatever the contract rate you've been offered plus 2%, whatever's higher. But generally right now 5.25% is the highest of the two. And what I've noticed in my applications, at least in my kind of a few that I've done in the last couple of days, is I've noticed people's purchasing power, people's buying power has kind of gone down by about 5%. So for some people that is making a huge difference, and for some people it's not as important. But again, it is making some of our applications who did not have an offer, and I haven't now have to kind of revamp our application. So it is hurting. It is hurting some people getting into the market. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, you say the contract rate plus 2%. Kind of what? I know you don't have an exact number, but kind of what is the range that you're seeing for a 5-year fixed?
Again, that's gonna. I mean, we used to quote that a lot, but it all varies now depending on if you're purchasing, like I mentioned earlier, that investment property versus a primary home, and it also depends on if your down payment is going to be more than
Yeah.
20% or less. But I mean, fixed rates are looking around the low 2% range, and like 2% to 2.3, depending on the variable, or sorry, depending on if it's an investment property or your primary home. And the variable rates I find right now are by far better interest rates, and they're somewhere around the 1.5 percentile.
Okay. Oh wow, that's quite a difference.
Yeah, it has been noticed that as
Yeah.
well.
Well, I think that pretty much covers, all the questions. Like I said, I wanted to keep it pretty brief. So again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to help out. Everybody that's listening, all of his contact information will be below. And if there's anything that we didn't cover, any questions you may have, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I'm sure Ryan will be more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have. So thank you so much for joining me, Ryan. Again, thank you for taking time out of your day. And
Yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate it.
give me a call if you guys need anything else. Thank you.